I told Eli and the family that we are gonna jump from the second floor, from the window of the safe room.
I saw them go down over there together, and also my mind is there and what is happening.
What's your name?
Miri Gad Masika,
Where are you from?
Kibbutz Be'eri,
You always lived here?
all my life.
Oh, you were born here?
Yeah, I was born and raised. My father was born here. My grandparents, they built Kibbutz Be'eri.
Wow, so you're an original family founder.
Totally.
Oh.
Third generation.
And what is Kibbutz Be'eri, for those who don't know?
Kibbutz Be'eri is the biggest kibbutz in the northwest of the Negev. Before October 7th, there was living here 1,200 people. Most of them are members of the kibbutz and children and families and so on. Kibbutz Be'eri is a shared community. Everything that people earn, they put in the same bank account and they buy the money between everybody. So the CEO of our printing house and the cleaning lady, they
Earn the
earn the same.
And what is the kibbutz known for? You said printing house.
Yeah.
What is like the main revenue driver?
Yeah, this is the main business of the kibbutz. It's the printing house. It make all kind of paper stuff, and this is the main business.
And before October 7th, what was your life as a civilian? What do you do? Were you involved in your work in the kibbutz, outside the kibbutz?
Before October 7th, I had business. I had business of business consulting, and marketing strategy.
I was gonna guess that, but you had business development, business growth, strategy.
I always had like words that are vanishing from me, but after October 7th, it got worse.
Okay, fair enough. I always say I come to Israel and two things happen. I become less observant as a Jew, and my English has gotten worse.
Yeah.
So,
So even in Hebrew, I got lost words.
and so you live here on Kibbutz Be'eri. You've lived here your whole life. What did you do in the army? Like I assume you served a few years ago.
I was a teacher.
You were a teacher in the army.
Yeah.
Can you tell me what you taught? Or it was very secret?
And no, I used to work with children in the schools, like helping them catch up, like with biology, English, and so on. And at the afternoon, like I was a guide in youth movements.
And tell me, because I want to get right into it. Obviously, Be'eri kibbutz has been one of the hardest hit kibbutz. Tell me about your October 6th. Simchat Torah, nobody could have imagined what was going to unfold 24 hours later. What were you doing? Where were you on October 6th?
On October 6th, Kibbutz Be'eri was celebrating his 67th birthday.
Wow.
And we had a special event that the theme of it was songs of the childhood in the kibbutz. So in advance, everybody sang the songs that represent his childhood in the kibbutz. And some of the songs was picked, and there was like singing all together with a singer. And some people was chosen to tell their story of their childhood in the kibbutz. Some that was born in the kibbutz, some came later to the kibbutz, and so on. So there was like a party with wine and cheeses and so on, and everybody was happy. And it ended about 10:30 at night, and we went to sleep. And we supposed to wake up and 9 in the morning it was supposed to continue with all the family. There was some kind of family,
Breakfast.
no, like an activity of חידות, כתב חידה כזה.
Riddles.
איך?
Riddle. So that's October.
It was
Because October 6th, you have this a good avira. What's the one of my favorite words now? And why don't you tell me what you woke up to on October 7th?
Usually on Saturday morning, I don't wake up on 6:30. I like to sit a little bit long, sleep a little bit longer, yeah. But we heard noises that at the beginning we thought it was thunders. I mean, it was so many noises together, like not one big boom. So it all was mixed together. It sounded like thunders. And so I looked outside the window and I saw, Israeli October, sun and so on. Nothing, no rain was coming. So we got up and we stayed I just wore my clothes, but my kids was already was with the jammies, and Eli understood that something is happening, so he put his shoes on, but all the rest of us was barefoot. And I went to the terrace and I look outside and I see all the missiles. And I said, this group of missiles is going to Tel Aviv, this group is going, I saw the direction, so Eli turned on the TV and they saying,
Who's Ellie?
Eli is my husband. I was in my house with Eli, my husband, and my 3 kids. Ori, 9 years old. Yahel was 14 years old, and Aitam was 16 years old. Said 15 years old then. About 7, we got a notification that said, we got a message that said, they don't know for sure, but they think that there is an invasion of terrorists. Like it was sound like it was a minor thing. So when we got, and they told us to go into the safe room, and when it will be over, they will tell us, and then we'll go out. So we thought it's a minor thing. We got inside the safe room. We took nothing with us. My daughters, one of them said that her head is a little bit ache, so I took 2 half of glasses of water, that's it. And we went inside. Eli, he felt that there was something unusual, so he didn't have any gun or nothing back then, so he took something like this in order to, if something will happen, so he will have something. So we went inside the safe room, and since then, maybe 2-3 minutes later, we already start to hear shoutings in Arabic and shootings.
Well, what did you feel the moment you heard the first shouting in Arabic? You went from grabbing 2 little cups of water, this is probably not a big deal, to all of a sudden you're hearing Arabic outside your house. Well, what did you feel in that moment? You had your kids with you.
We felt scared. We were very scared. We was dealing with how to secure the handle of the safe room, because we knew that the safe room was planned for missiles. It wasn't planned for a terrorist attack. So we knew that if we can't secure the handle, so we will be more safe. So, and we knew that if somebody is coming from the outside and he'll do like this, so the handle is open. I mean, there was no way to secure the handle. We had a latch, and the people who was living in this house before us, they put the latch. And we tried to do everything in order to hold the handle.
What did you tell your kids?
I think that mainly we were trying to be quiet so they won't hear us, so they won't come in. Our house was on the second floor, and the stairs was made of wood, like the stairs that you see here. So we thought that these kind of stairs are a little bit hidden. So maybe they won't see the stairs, so maybe they won't come. He said that he wants him to burn the stairs, to burn obviously the terrace with the stairs because it's from wood, so they won't come. But I thought, what are you thinking about? I mean, it seems like far from me. So I said, no, I mean, it's unnecessary. If now thinking about it, if he would have done it, so they couldn't get inside our house, but
So I take it that, because what you're getting at is they made it inside your house.
yeah,
Tell
about
me about that, because you're in the safe room, you're trying to secure the handle, you're being quiet, you have no idea what's happening. It's completely ambiguous. Walk me through the moments that you've discovered there are terrorists outside of your house. They're now inside your house.
our house built like this house. It's 2 apartment downstairs and 2 apartment upstairs. We were on the second floor. And they entered before they came to my apartment. They entered our neighbor's apartment at the same building, and they tried to bomb their door. They couldn't succeed, so they set fire in their houses, and then they come to my side. They started with the neighbor downstairs. His name was Ablum. And he was 80 years old, and they caught him immediately. He wasn't hiding. He didn't thought it was something major. He didn't hear well, but many times people from the kibbutz came and told him, there is a danger, please go inside your safe room, but he didn't do it. So he was outside, they caught him, and we heard them talking at the beginning in Arabic. We didn't understand anything, but then we heard him saying to them one last sentence in Hebrew. He told them, take whatever you want, but please have a mercy on me. But they didn't, so they shot him. We are like,
You heard it?
many, what?
You were hearing all of this while you were here safe room with your kids.
Yes, yeah, we heard that. And we knew that we are the next. So like maybe 2-3 minutes after, they set fire in his apartment as well, and then they came in.
And you didn't know that these fires were being set at the time. How did you know?
First of all, until 12 o'clock, when they came to our house, we heard in all the WhatsApp group what happening. I mean, that people got shot, that a baby was murdered, that people that was writing are no longer writing. We didn't actually understand what happened to them, but they're like vanished. And that they setting fires, and there are shooters on the roofs and so on. We understand that something really wrong happened. We used to ask all the time, where is the army? Why doesn't the army come? And the people which is in charge of being in contact with the army, they said they are on the way, but they didn't come until 2 o'clock. And the terrorists came inside our house about between 12 to 1 o'clock. So they came inside our house, and the first thing that they did, they came to the door. At this minute,
The front door, not the...
no, the front door, we couldn't even lock it. It was made of glass.
So you're talking about the safe room door.
Yeah, they came immediately to the safe room door, and then we heard like they pumped it or something. At this moment, at the beginning, we heard them talking in Arabic. They're shouting something in Arabic. We didn't understand. This minute was the most scary part of the situation, because we got it that if they open the door, it's the end of us, of all of us. We didn't have anywhere to go, anywhere to hide. Like they're opening the door and they just shoot us. So this was the most scariest things. We told the kids, be quiet. And we were, I remember in my heart beats, like they're beating so fast, and me breathing so fast, but they couldn't succeed. They
Did
didn't.
you feel that was the end? Did you have a moment that you felt that your wave flashed in front of you?
No. But I like prepared myself that it's a good possibility. I mean,
And why didn't they come in? How did they not hit?
because Ellie, he secured the door that way. He took the table of the safe room was was Yahel's room. So she had a table over there, and she had like books, and he put the table and on the table books. So the handle was stuck on the books. So there wasn't a possibility of the handle to go down. And we had the
latch onto
yeah, and he held it with his
his belt.
belt as well. So it was good, secured. It was secured good. So they couldn't succeed to open the door. And then when we understand that they not trying to do it anymore, so I don't say that we wasn't scared. We was very scared, but we understand that they're walking inside the house and start lighting it, setting fire in every room, in the living room, everywhere. We understand that they are putting many efforts in order to make sure that all the rooms are being set on fire. Like they stay there for a few minutes. They didn't like light one thing and then go. Yeah.
Well, let me ask you a question. You noticed that the terrorists are at the door. So
Yeah.
the door's secure of the safe room. You realize the terrorists are there. How long was it that they attempted to get in, that they tried to round to the safe room?
Not a lot. Not a lot. Maybe less than 1 minute even. They understand that they can't move the handle, so they bumped it with something. I don't know exactly with what. There was a big. We felt the boom, but everything was moving. And after that, they didn't try anymore. I mean, maybe the lucky part was that the entire house was already on fire. The neighbor, the downstairs neighbor, and the two other apartment was already on fire. I think that they thought that they're gonna be caught inside the house with the fire because that the stairs and the terrace are made from wood. So they thought that they will be caught inside and
It burn fast.
yeah, that's what I
And the safe room, because it's sealed,
because the other neighbors they tried more with the door. Like one of the neighbors, they like long minutes they were fighting on the door.
And the reason that you were able to survive the in the safe room is because it's reinforced steel. So the whole house will be on fire and the safe room remains safe? You
The
explain.
safe room, yeah, the safe room was not open, but he started to be filled from two things. One of the first things that they put inside the house, like I said, they came prepared. They brought some kind of gas. I don't know exactly what, but it wasn't smelling like a gas that you cook with. And very very fast we smelled the smoke, and it was coming from the electricity openings. I mean, everything was like secured, but the electricity opening where the air condition, it came from there, and it came from the ארון חשמל כזה היה שם. The smoke came just like water, came like this, and And when the door was already hot, so all the plastic that is around the door was melted, so everything came from the
So what did you do? Because at some point you had to get out of it. You couldn't stay in a room.
yeah. And when I understand that they're setting fire in the houses of my neighbors, and that the neighbors came outside the windows, so I told Eli and the family that we are gonna jump from the second floor, from the window of the safe room. And at the beginning, he told me no, and I said, what do you mean? I'm not gonna die here today, not from smoke inhaling and not from being burned alive, because it's the most terrible way to die. And we talked about it just a little while, and then he said, okay, because I told him that I'm gonna jump with or without him. I'm not gonna die like this today. And he said, okay, but not now. But all the house is already on fire. What do you mean not now? He said, only when the fire will be at the door. So I said, okay. And he said, I'm sitting near the door, and when the door will be hot, we understand that the fire is coming here, and we have some time to stay in the room, because we understand that the terrorists are waiting down the windows, and there are shooters on the roofs. So it's better maybe to wait a little bit, so they will go. And after a few minutes, I was sitting with my face to the door, and then I saw, like you see here on the door, was many magnets, like this one, for all the happy moments of our lives. And then I started to see that the magnets that got very hot, like, start to melt. They melt, and they melt all over the door, and then I understand that the fire is here, and I told him this is time. Ori, she wanted to jump from the beginning. She said, let's jump, let's jump. She was really active. And then I said, okay. So I started to open the window, and then I said, wait. I mean, if I'm taking my head outside to look if there are terrorists outside, and they are there, they're shooting me, and it's the end. What can I do? I don't want to die here today. Even though I said that I prefer to die from shooting, I rather not die at all if I can. So what can I do? What can I do? Then I just took up my cell phone. I opened video on my phone, and I took pictures of the roofs and the downstairs. And I took it inside back. I looked at the video, and I saw that at this little place down my window, although that there are more than 500 terrorists inside the kibbutz, at this point in this place, it was clean. So we start jumping. My husband Eli, he jumped first one. He was the only one with shoes, so he landed okay. This is something like between 4.5 to 5 meters high. So he landed, and then Ori jumped on him, and he didn't cut her, but he made the jumping
a little easier.
yeah. But then the two, my oldest kids, they were jumping. One of them fell on a table that was downstairs, and she hurt her leg, but from the adrenaline, she just came. And Eitam, he was jumping, and he was staying on the floor, and I was jumping on Eli. Like, both of us fell. I felt like a concussion, but I said no time for being no injury time, so I just pushed myself up, but I see that my son is staying on the floor, on the ground, and I said, Eitam, please get up. And he tells me, Mom, I can't. And I was thinking to myself, it's no time to being spoiled now. I mean, just go up. And I said, get up. And he said, I can't. And then he put his leg up, and I see that his foot was like this, and I understand that he broke his foot. So he didn't get up, and I was thinking to myself, my plan was to go to my neighbor that was standing outside his house with his pistol, and he tells us, come to us, I will cover you. And now, anyway, this was the only offer that we get. So few months later, I understand that I got more offers, but I didn't saw them. It was
They were a little busy.
I was a little busy. Yeah, one of my friends said, "I told you to come to me. Why didn't you come?" And I never saw the message. Only 9 months later, yeah, I saw her message. So we knew that this plan is no longer relevant. And then, like, some kind of magic happened. Our neighbors from the house the nearest house, they saw us jumping from the window. They went outside to bring their daughter a glass of water because she didn't feel good. And they saw us jumping, and they was waving to us, but we didn't see because, like you said, we were doing something else at this moment. So they see that we didn't saw them. So they went downstairs. They went outside to down our window, and they tells us to come with them to their house, and they.
What happened to your son?
My son, he broke his foot. We helped him go up. We help him stand, and we take him with us. We support him.
And so you go from like having this calm morning to then being in your safe room with your kids where it could have been your last moments to jumping out the window. You're now on the move. What are you seeing? What are you hearing? And more importantly, what are you feeling?
Scared to death. We didn't know exactly what is going to happen, but we knew that we have to be focused. What my mind was so focused about being active at this time, not like from one mission to another.
That you were in process, fight or flight, as we said, survive.
Yeah, exactly like this. When we understand that they are setting, I was making with myself some kind of process that I understand it later, that in any minute, I choose what gonna be the second thing, the next thing that we're gonna do. I was feeling, like you said, scared to die. And then I knew that I have to do something in order to save myself and my family, because there was no army at this point in Kibbutz Be'eri. We understand that if we want to survive, we have to rescue ourselves. We are not gonna trust anybody else to do it for us. It's only what we're gonna do. This is what will happen to us.
And so you go in with your neighbor. You got your son with a broken foot. What unfolds between the time you're with your neighbor and the time that you actually are evacuated from Beeri?
We stayed in their safe room from a quarter to 2 until quarter to 7, 5 hours. We stayed 5 hours in their safe room. In this point, we were all black. From the smoke, we had like a black mustache here from the smoke inhaling, and when we clean our nose, everything was black, came from us. So it was the first time that we drank something. It was we didn't actually eat, but we went to the in their safe. Yeah. We felt a little bit more safe in their room first thing, because they had a door plated. Their front door was not from glass, so if the terrorists will come, it will take them 30 minutes to open it. It's 30 seconds to open it, but we have a little time. So we felt a little bit more secure and safe in their house.
And we're with other people.
And nurse with other people, and we had electricity and air condition and water and the toilet, and we had everything what we didn't have in our
Did
safe.
anyone have a weapon was with you?
No, no, only knives, on a knife.
Until 4:45. You said 4:45.
No, water to
To 7. Excuse me. What happened at 6:45?
in 6:45. I mean, many things happened in between, even in our safe room and in their safe room. Many things happened in this time.
So I'm gonna interrupt you. Tell me 2 stories. Let's start with one story. Tell me one story that while you said many things happened, that sticks out to you as the wow, though this is happening.
Yeah, maybe 2.5 things.
Tell my 3 then, no problem.
One thing that my best friend was shot in her how do you call this? Her hip, two bullets in her hip, about 8:30 in the morning, through the safe room door. They shot her through the safe room door, and then they set fire in her house. And we thought that she's gonna die. I mean, she lost her conscience from time to time, and her daughter took her cell phone, and she started to contact with us, and she was hysterical. So we thought that she's going to die. And then Ellie said, I'm going to go and help her. And then we said, you don't have a weapon. How will you go? It's like maybe 200 meters far. How can you go there without nothing? And we just hold him not to go. And then we understand when time's going, we understand that she's hurt, but she's alive. Okay. So this was a very scary moment.
Over on WhatsApp, you're receiving these.
Through WhatsApp and a little bit. Yeah. Talking to her daughter. She was a 13 years old daughter. And so all we knew is through her. And we asked like paramedic and SAP to come there, but nobody came. She was rescued only at 12:30 at night, and she survived. This was a very scary moment. The second, I would say, 2 scary moments, and one like optimistic, maybe not an optimistic, but something else. And the other one that our neighbor that was holding her infant child was her infant, her baby, was shot in her hands, and 9 months old, through the handle of the safe room door. They were shooting, and it got through her head. And in this moment, we were shocked because she wrote in the Facebook, in the WhatsApp group, my daughter is dead. And we didn't understand. She didn't say the daughter, she said the name. And because she was so small, not everybody knew what was the name of the baby. So at the beginning, we didn't understand what she's talking about. But when we understand, we were shocked. I mean, first that she wrote it in the group, and the second that's what's happening to people. They are getting murdered. It was very hard, and then we heard everything through the WhatsApp group. But what happened to me, that I understand that we are in a historic situation. I mean, nothing like that. I didn't understand how big it is, but I understand that whatever big is it, the biggest thing that ever happened in Israel. So it's a part of history. I understand it's in this moment. So I try to take some pictures and some videos. They didn't let me much, but I had some. And the second thing that I did, because I got many calls and many WhatsApp messages, and I didn't I didn't answer to any of them. Only my parents and Ellie's parents, that I started to write Facebook posts. I started to write Facebook posts in order to everybody to understand what happened in Beeri, what's happened to us, and to call for help. Because was my way. I have many contacts on Facebook, so was my way of saying what is happening to us and calling for help. So I think this is the few things that I remember the most from it. Later on, like days and months later, people told me that at this point they thought or that I got crazy for what I'm writing because it's unreal, or that a bot was hacking your account. Yeah, that it's unreal what I'm writing, and I didn't write anything specific like this one was murder, or this one was just that they are shooting at us and they are burning our houses. Only this. And people thought that somebody hacked my Facebook page. And later on, people from the archive, they from the National Archive, they want to take all my Facebook feed, and לשמור שם.
Yeah, documents. Like
Yeah.
secure it. So
Yeah, and the thing that happened in the Sharabi, in Shchori's safe room was first that I I could start looking at messages that I get, and I was more in contact with my family and with my parents, and then I had to understand that there are more than 12 terrorists are hiding on the roof of my parents' house since the morning, and that their house are being burned on fire, and there are terrorists in their house from the morning. And so
this is what you were seeing in the WhatsApp group chat. Just
me and my father, because he was the only one who got left batteries.
so his house was being burnt, and there was terrorists inside.
Yeah, that's what he thought, that the house is being burned. And after they came back, they understand that only the terrorists were burned, and the other part of the house, one part of the house was burned, but the main house was not burned. So that they smell all the smoke and so on. So they thought that all the house was being burned.
And can I have your father? He survived.
Our last name is Gad. Gad in Hebrew is luck. I think that all my family was very lucky. And at 5 o'clock, we lost contact with them. They had no and they had no battery anymore in their cell phone. So I knew that they didn't, but I knew that the terrorists are in their house, and I knew that their house was on fire. So about 5 o'clock, I was saying goodbye to them in my heart. I mean, I understand that they could not survive such a thing. 12 terrorists on the roof and a burning house. What are the odds? And so I said goodbye to them. And at this point, we were with the neighbors that rescue us, and we understand that Ayelet Shchori's brother and his family, some of them got shot. We didn't understand exactly who and what happened to them, but they were in contact with the two little child of her brother that survived it, and they helped them survive while talking to them on the cell phone and every few minutes in order to keep them safe inside the bushes. And they like I said, they burned the house, and then they went outside the window, and they were hiding in the bushes, and they were shot in the bushes. And now we know that the two kids survived, and the parents didn't. And the father was a friend of mine. We grew together. All of them was friend of mine, but the father, I was growing up with him.
So let me bring you to a quarter to seven.
In 6:45, there was knocking on the door, open, it's the army.
Well, hold on. Before you do it, you get a knock on the door.
Yeah.
What was the first instinct that you guys had?
I said to Eitan was running to the door. I mean, he like felt it was the army, and I said, no, don't open. I mean, maybe they had some kind of code that they had to say. I don't even remember if they said it or not, but he was sure that it was the army. So it was like seconds, okay? And he opened the door, and then we saw a few soldiers are standing, and they said, we are evacuating you, so please come with us, take what you need, but come with us. And we didn't have anything to take because we didn't took anything from our house. And they took us outside. There was like a kibbutz, and they were surrounding us in order to keep us safe. But, you know, if there was terrorists there, we wouldn't be safe. Like,
What did you see?
at this point, we didn't see anything. We didn't. It was gonna start to be. It started being dark.
But it's the first time you're now outside and
We didn't see anything special. I mean, I wasn't looking. I mean, I was so focused about going. There was a car standing there that we was supposed to go inside the car, and the car was took us outside, and the car and the soldiers, there was behind them, there were many dead bodies, but we didn't see it in this moment. They were hiding it.
Yeah.
So we came inside the car. We were sitting on one on each other and so on, and there was no place for Eli. You saw him; he's big. There was no place for him, and he stayed outside. And he said, "You'll go, and they will come to take him later." And I had no other choice. Do you remember my son with his broken foot? I had.
I was just to ask you.
Yeah, I mean, okay, that's what we're gonna do. And then we went and we start driving, and then we understand that we are not driving on the road. That we are like there are many bumps on the way, and when we felt it, the soldiers told us not to look outside. But you know what happened when somebody tells you not to think about a pink elephant? That's what you do. So the children didn't look, but I looked, and then I saw this dead bodies that I told you about. And immediately I turned my head inside the car.
Was that the moment that it felt real? Because you had all this adrenaline that was running through you since the morning. Now you're in this car up again, surrounded by safety, if you will, as safe as you have been for the last 10 hours. Did it all hit you then? Like, what you just went through? Not digested it, but was that your wow?
No, there was another moment later.
I want to hear about that wow.
No, I mean, I knew that people are being murdered, but we didn't know like how many and so on. But we went outside, and then I was barefoot. My son was barefoot, and I saw an ambulance, and I said, I came with my son to the ambulance, and I asked, maybe you can take care of my son. And I was looking inside the ambulance, and I saw that it was empty. There was nothing, no equipment, nothing inside the ambulance. And he told me, this is not a matter of life and death, and so you evacuate him whenever you go, wherever you go. And then I saw something that my little daughter and my Ori, she paid attention to this. She saw naked person sitting on the ground with his eyes covered, and she asked me, "Mommy, why this man is naked?" And I was trying to say maybe he was getting hurt, and they did a checkout or something, and It was the terrorist that came out of Pessy's house where he was turned himself in after the army اشتلت.
Came to clear the house.
Yeah, yeah. So we get to a gathering place. We stay there for about an hour, maybe a little bit longer. There was bombing and shooting over there, but nobody got hurt. And then we got on the bus, and on the evacuation bus. And in this point, I started like breathing. I thought that, okay, we are going away from this place, so maybe it's gonna be better now. But and Ellie didn't come with us. He stayed. He told me, I want to stay near Beeri to wait for your parents. And I said to myself, why are you waiting for my parents? They're already dead. I mean, why? But he said that that's what he wants to do, so I didn't argue with him. And he stayed there, and I went with my 3 kids on the bus.
Where do they take?
So it's a thing as well. We're getting on the bus. We asked the driver to take us to Tel Aviv. There was an argument about it because he was supposed to like throw us in near Netivot and then come maybe to take more people. But we didn't let him do this. But before that, we were driving maybe 2 minutes, even less. And then 2 groups of terrorists start to shoot the bus from the 2 sides of the bus, like two. And we went on the ground, and one of my wow moment was that I was on the middle of the bus, and some person, from being scared, he couldn't control himself and like made a pee, and I was wet totally from the pee. All my pants was wet from the pee, and this was some kind of aha moment that I understand how deep we are in this shit. I mean, and yeah, but fortunately, nothing happened to the bus and nothing happened to us, and we continued driving. At the end, we got to Tel Aviv. In the middle, there was a stop in Netivot, Mada in Netivot. Then we saw more than 50 paramedics and more than 5 cars, like ambulance, that was standing there, maybe from the morning, we don't know. They're not going and not rescuing anybody. They're just standing there while people are dying from the wounds in Beeri and in other places. And it was very hard to see this. So
Why were they swapped there? Like, what did you learn?
because the army didn't let them go in.
And when you learned this after the fact, how did that make you feel?
Bad, because I knew about some people that was dying from the wounds. I mean, there was a friend of my son that was 15 years old. He got shot through the door in his 2 hands, and his hand was, he didn't longer had his hands, but he was bleeding for 8 hours. He could have survived, maybe without hands, but could have survived if somebody would have come before. But after 8 hours, he died from bleeding.
We,
Yeah.
I think like we can sit for hours. I feel like we can sit for hours. I have a few questions I want to ask you. You're one of the few people that I've spoken to that had experienced this with their family pretty much in their entirety. I mean, your parents weren't with you. And I take it as Ellie walked in here, you guys met up, and I'm sure there's a whole story about how that happened. But I want to ask you, after you were, safe and after a bit of time, how did you communicate what happened and the experience with your kids? Because it's something you've lived with your kids.
I think that the most important thing about it is like the modeling stuff. I mean, not what we talked about because they don't want to talk to me. I mean, mom, you're shoving. How do you say? Like you're forcing. Yeah, I mean, but the first thing I did was bringing mental help for them. Okay, the first day in the hospital and later in the hotel, I asked for a specialist to come and to talk to them. And for them, it was easiest to talk to specialists, so they are being take care of with this. But I think that the modeling that was inside the safe room, that they saw how we deal, how we are staying calm, how we plan the stuff, how we are not being hopeless, how we, whatever we have, we deal with it. So I think that even though they are very different from each other, one is very energetic, the other one is very quiet, and the other, and so everybody is different. But I think that they saw us, how we dealt with the situation, how we let them know that there is always an alternative, help them not being in trauma for a long time. I mean, they understand that the thing was a traumatic situation, but there will be no post-traumatic syndrome, like it's being a post-traumatic growth out of it, and not the other thing. And I think that this is the most important thing. I mean, not about talking about the thing all the time, but living it.
And you saw you were displaced, you were evacuated, to the Dead Sea.
At the beginning, we were evacuated to Tel Aviv.
Totally, but for a more permanent period of time, you were in the Dead Sea. And what was the morale? You know, the energy. Again, weeks after when people started getting settled at the Dead Sea. And I know we're gonna see this on Sunday, but what was your experience? What did you feel that the kfutza, the group, how are people? You know, we just lived this.
I think that the fact that all of us experienced the same thing was like when you meet somebody that went through something, so you look at him differently. But when we all got through the same thing, so I think for the beginning, it was maybe easier for everybody because we understand each other. Okay, so because we went through the same thing, even though people lost their loved ones, like 101 people from Beeri was murdered this day. And some of them are parents of my friends, some of them are my friends, close friends, and so on. But I think that the togetherness was very necessary at the beginning. And I think it gave energy to everybody. People who came from outside saw us and they didn't understand how come people are laughing and playing and so on. They thought that everybody will sit and cry. But firstly, all of us were in shock, like for many months later. Many months later, we didn't even understand how many people got murdered. I mean, 3 months later, that was people who got buried only 3 months later because they find the remainings of them only 3 months later. So it wasn't wild. It still is an ongoing event that didn't, even now it's still happening because that 11 friends of us are still in the Gaza captivity, in the Hamas captivity. 7 of them, we know that they are already not alive, but we hope that 4 of them are. But it doesn't matter. Everybody should come back. I mean, in order for Kibbutz Be'eri to really revive, it need for the hostages to come back as soon as possible.
So that was what I was gonna ask you, because we're 10 months later, almost 11 months later, and I want to ask you, like, what is your life like now? I can assume you're not working in the same business. I know the kibbutz is not even nearly, close or even ready for people to move back here. What's the future? What's the present today and the future looking like for yourself as an individual, your family, and as the kibbutz?
On the 7th of October, when I understand that this is like an historic situation, I understand that I'm not going to be the same afterwards, and that I'm not going back to doing what I did before. So maybe I didn't exactly knew how it's gonna look, but I understand that my mission, the first mission is to survive it with my family. And the second mission is to pass it on, is to tell the story of myself and Beeri everywhere, every day, whenever I can. This is my life mission since then until now and maybe years later. And so I closed my business. I made a refund for my customers about 100,000 shekels almost. And since then, all I did, I built like a department of communication, and I rent people to do the PR and so on. At the beginning, I did it, but after that, I took people, professional people. I open all the media, and I do many things in order to make sure that nobody will ever forget October 7. Nobody ever forget the 101 member murders. Nobody will ever forget our kidnapped friends, which are still there, and we need to bring them as soon as possible. And for your second question, it's an aim of mine as well, as that everybody will know that people are gonna go back to live in Beeri only when this place is gonna be safe. And like you said, Beeri not ready yet for people to live here, to come back here, because it's still not safe, and there are more than 120 buildings and houses was totally burned or crushed. I mean, there is not enough room for everybody to come back now.
Why do you want to come back here? Why is it important to you?
Because my heart is here. I mean, I was born here, my father was born here. And there's no other place that I can think of me wanting on living in another place. It's the only place I want to. At the beginning, I thought I will never come back here because it's the place for all my friends that was murdered here. It's not a safe place. It's not a safe place yet. But when it will be safe, my heart is here. I mean, you always want to come back home. So I want to come back home. I mean, I don't have anxieties. I mean, I'm scared when there's something scary, but I don't overthink it. I mean, what is going to happen. It's not up to me. I'm dealing with what's up to me, because when it's definitely something scary, I'm being scared. I'm not dealing with thinking over scary stuff, being all the anxiety and so on, because I know that it's not what I know. I just know that what I can do, I will do, and what is not under my force and control, I'm trying not to overthink about it.
Let me ask you, you say you work in media and PR and communications. You've obviously seen what everybody outside of Israel says about Israel. people who say that this never happened, this isn't true, and those that say that it is true, it's created by the IDF. How does that make you feel as somebody who lived this, and not just alone, but with your family?
I know that people are being brainwashed and they don't know that they are being brainwashed. I don't think that they are doing it on purpose. I think that they just don't know actually what happened, and that our mission is to tell it over and over and over and over again for them to understand that what happened is true, and to see the footage of the burning houses, and to see, to hear people which have burn witness. How do you say? Bear witness. Bear witness. And I think it's very important. I mean, I can't do anything else. I will do everything in my power in order to tell the story and to show everybody what happened here, what they believe, and what I can't control it.
What is your one message to all those people who don't know but are standing on campuses and standing at protests, screaming until they're blue in their face that Israel is the problem?
I don't know if there is something I can say to them now that are going to change their opinion. But I think that everybody should always hear more than one side of the story, because stories usually are told one-sided. I always think that people should hear more opinions, and at the afterwards they can decide whatever they want to decide. I can't control it, but I think that they should listen more, and that's what they don't do. They don't listen. They think that there is one truth and only one truth, and it's never right. There are always more than one truth.
On October 7th, here in Israel, we suffered tremendously, like unimaginable, as you know. The diaspora, the Jewish community in the diaspora, has suffered since October 7th as a result of what happened here. Young kids are scared to go to campuses. Synagogues have been targeted with violent attacks. Jewish kids and people are being beaten up in the streets. What is your message to the Jewish communities and to the young Jewish kids in the diaspora?
To come to Israel, to live with us in Israel. I mean, I think that no message, I think that they always should remember where they came from, and to stay strong from the inside, and to know that they can always come to Israel, even though Israel is not the safest place on earth. But I think that now no place is safe. I mean, terrorists and bad people are everywhere, and we can't control our destiny, but we can choose what we think and where we live, and there are many things that we can choose, and I think they should choose what's best for them, what they feel is best for them.
I want to go back just a little bit. Now reflecting 10 months later, we spoke about the army and these ambulances that were limited. They weren't able to come. And unfortunately, your friend's son, bled out. What do you feel, especially because there's been a lot of talk about this, the responsibility of the government of October 7th?
They never say that they take responsibility of what happened. The army did. They came to us and they said it was our responsibility, we failed, and so on. Unfortunately, the government say nothing. They never came to us. Maybe only the people from Tkuma that helps us to build again, because it's important for them that this place will be rebuilt, because we are like a human shield of Israel. Uh, but the government, they said nothing yet. And I'm not sure even that they will ever say something. They don't take the responsibility. They just try to find who's guilty, and not them. They are not guilty.
Before October 7th, this country was divided because of the judicial reform. It was, the left couldn't look at the right couldn't look at the left. There was no, it doesn't matter that we were human
It's
beings.
the same now. It's even worse. At the beginning, we thought that like everybody together, and there is some kind of how is
Achdut, unity.
yeah, some kind of unity. And I was listening to an interview that we are talking about what's going to happen in the world and so on, and not in a meanings of peace, and in a meaning of in a higher level, what's going to happen in the world. And before something good happen, there have to be some kind of crisis. And then I don't remember if it was a woman or man, but he said the October 7, you will see that the October 7 is not the biggest crisis that is gonna make like everything better later. And I was very hungry, very angry to hear this, because 101 of my friends got murdered. What happened in Beeri, never in Beeri, in all the region, never happened in Israel, never. And he said, no, it's not big enough. You will see that it was months later, when we all was united at this point. I thought maybe this will make the difference. And he was right. 2 months later, 3 months later, it got worse, it got worse, it got worse. It's very hard for me to see people from the Yamin and people from the small. It doesn't matter. Both of them, they don't come they don't get closer to one another, just getting further apart. And it's very.
Are you a religious person by any stretch of the mind?
No,
No?
no. My husband does, but I'm not a religious person. But I believe in the goodness of people.
That's often more important. Like yesterday we celebrated Tisha B'Av, and what was the reason the second temple was destroyed? It's because sinat chinam, baseless hatred. And you see it today. I was talking about this with my father. Like, there's no way that if you believe in it or not, the Mashiach, a good world can come if we're fighting between each other, let alone fighting with, the outside world. So it's a long road ahead for a peaceful and easy world. But your resilience is incredible. And the people here in Israel, the resilience as a whole is incredible.
Yes, I think you're right. And I think it's very sad what happens in the United States and in Europe now. The hatred is so bad. I mean, and I actually don't understand why. Really, I don't. Maybe I'm naive, but I don't understand why. I mean, why to fight? Why? I don't understand it. I mean, but I think that people can just listen to one another and can understand each other, even though if they're not agreeing with each other. I live with Ellie that think the opposite of me. And we're living together. I mean, I think it's possible. I think it's not even hard. And I don't know. I mean,
My last question for you. What is outside of the war, outside of this experience? I know this has become your life
yeah.
at this point. Again, you lived it with your kids. What is your one dream, your vision for yourself as an individual?
I think I said it before. at this point, my visions, my mission, my main aim in life is to do whatever which is in my power to make sure that nobody forgets October 7th.
And how does that make you feel when, after the Holocaust, we say never again?
You know, like we created a slogan for us. Slogan was created for us after the Holocaust, and now 80 years later, we're saying it again in a new context.
How does it make you feel that now you're sitting here going, well, I'm going to make my life mission never again, or to never forget?
I said never forget. I mean, it's not even never forget, is to remind everybody all the time that October 7th happened here and can happen anywhere else in the world. In London, we saw it's almost happened in London, in France, in New York, whatever. Like, I was when the twins fell in New York. I was living in New York. Yeah, I've been when where Rabin got murdered. I was there as well.
I'm not hanging around with you.
I'm being in every
So it really is your life mission.
yeah, it is, and that's why I'm sitting here now with you. That's why I'm telling my story now, and I'm booked in like I didn't even count how many lectures I'm going to give near October 7. I'm not going to take a lecture not going to give a lecture in October 7, but before and after, all day I have a phone call that they want to invite me to come to say people want to hear, people want to feel. The next thing I want to do is to go abroad and tell the story abroad. And if people from another countries, they hear me, so I think that and they want to bear witness,
Bear business.
bear witness, so they can invite me, and I will come. Kibbutz Be'eri decided that he is gonna split. It's not about Simchat Torah, but he's gonna split the memory day for 2 days. One day is to remember all the people who got murdered in the cemetery, in a small ceremony in Beeri, and the other one is at the end of the month, in order to deal with the entire situation that was here, that people was brave and did like good things for one another, and people got hurt and so on. So it will be like a wider event, not only for the memories of the 101 people who got murdered. So I think everybody can do 2 events, 2 separate events.